Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So World Tournament is up right now. So a chance to do more of like a discussion video or something like that is good, since I do want to grind World Tournament heavily and not really record gameplay right now. So I released my LR tier list a couple of days ago. I mean, for the most part, it was received well. A lot of people were arguing about Boo versus Broly. I mean, even still days later, I 100% will stand by that. People have not liked LR Piccolo's inclusion on here, Orange Piccolo, Power Awakening Piccolo, for a little while now, but, I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just don't really, I don't know if it's appreciate how powerful his active and the giant transformation is, or understand it completely or something like that. Maybe it's that people, because he's such an old character. I mean, if we look at this top 10, every character in this top 10 is a 2024 character. And then Piccolo is 2022, right? And certainly he has aged quite a bit. I mean, make no mistake about that. But, I mean, he was always more of a defense-oriented type character here. And that's allowed him to hold up quite well. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about giant transformation characters, which the two major ones that come off the top of my head are Ribrianne and Orange Piccolo, because with these two characters, you could specifically choose when to use the giant form, not like kind of just one of those old-ass Great Ape characters where it's just like, you know, you'd have a chance to proc it and stuff like that. Those can still give you the same effectiveness that Piccolo and Ribrianne can, but it's not something you can actively choose when to do it. And then we also have Ghost Usher characters. Characters that have an active skill that have the exact same effect as the Ghost Usher item, which, you know, is definitely probably the strongest item. That's why they made it to where you can't use the Ghost Usher item 2 turns in a row, right? They don't let you actually just like spam it like that. So, let's kind of like talk about some of this, because a lot of people, like, you know, I was saying like Orange Piccolo's in here, he's got the best active skill in the game. And I saw, you know, some people saying, well, like, no, well, the Ghost Usher active skills are actually the best in the game. And it is a little bit more of kind of like a complex discussion. I think I could easily walk out of this like being like, yeah, like Ghost Ushers could be better, but both are like right exactly what you want to look for, right? Like, these are some of the strongest abilities. I mean, this guy, he sucks. He is terrible, horrible. But, I mean, if you can make it to his transformed state, and then you have his active, I mean, that is a game-winning type of ability, is exactly what these Ghost Ushers and Giant Form abilities are. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So these are just like some kind of like you know, pros and cons abilities of these. I read this you know, a while back. Well, a couple days ago. Yeah, a couple days ago, and I was like, okay, like I could definitely make a solid video on this. So let's start with Giant Form pros here. Okay, here, let's turn the zoom down a little bit for this one. That looks good. Okay, so forces bosses to use up their abilities. Okay, so the way that this works is when you do a giant transformation, it's not actually causing turns to pass, right? So even though, so like, you know, let's say Piccolo, you could do this on turn 3. So we'll just say turn 3, we use Orange Piccolo's active skill against like Red Zone Kid Buu or something like that, right? So, you know, turn 3, we're against Red Zone Kid Buu, we pop Orange Piccolo's giant form. Well, I guess turn 3 is not the best example, because that's the first turn you get to Kid Buu. Let's just say turn 4, because that's better, because Kid Buu will be able to super attack, and he also has a heal, right? So by using the giant ability, what you're doing is it's going to be multiple turns, while Piccolo, or Ribrianne for the sake of discussion, while they're in their giant transformation, if the boss will super, you know, do an AoE, do a heal, do a lot of these different types of abilities, what will actually happen with that is they will use those abilities up. So, you know, you transformed with Orange Piccolo on turn 4, the boss in Piccolo's giant form did all their abilities, you leave the giant form, and then once you leave the giant form, the boss, again, has already used up all of their abilities. They can't then super attack. Kid Buu can't then heal. Like, those things that they could do that could make them kind of nasty have already been used up. And, you know, Piccolo and Ribrianne can both do a little bit of damage. It's certainly not, I mean, if we talk about, like, what it counts as, like, major big damage or something like that these days, certainly Orange Piccolo and Ribrianne are not doing major damage. But they certainly are doing at least a little bit of extra, which can help. So that's what that means by using up boss abilities. Counts towards boss turns, allows you to subvert boss rage modes, also allows you to debuff Cell Max earlier than otherwise. That could be very, very good, right, against Cell Max. That's actually probably, yeah, that is probably what happened. My very first Cell Max run in Stage 2, let me actually pull this up, because I don't think that's actually not something I've noticed. That's why I was able to stun Cell Max so fast. Hold on. Yeah, so here's my very first ever Cell Max run, and I was rocking Orange Piccolo, and then I assume we get an Orange Piccolo transformation in here pretty early on. No, actually, I don't even... I guess... wait, did I skip it? A lot of times... Yeah, okay, I skipped it. A lot of times what I do is, it's like I'll do the giant transformation, and then you have turns of Piccolo just attacking the boss. So it's like, I will be like, all right, guys, we'll see you when Piccolo is done attacking, and then I pause the recording, and then we come back, and that's definitely what I did right here. So that would have kind of like cycled through his resistances and stuff a little bit earlier. Okay, because then what happens is we come back, and then I'm able to drop the Gamma standby on Cell Max, and it actually was able to stun him. Yeah, okay. That's not even something I really accounted for, that would allow you to debuff Cell Max earlier. That's, sheesh, that's pretty big. I mean, I would count Cell Max. Right now, I'm calling Cell Max the toughest fight in the game. I am. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, winning and losing is kind of like the important thing. And I definitely lose against Cell Max way more than any other fight. And that could be even using, you know, Beast Gohan on the team, Evolution Blue Vegeta on the team, like all these characters. Like the Cell Max fight, just the way it's structured, even though you can cheese him, and, you know, you have like Buhan who has a win button against him, like that's a big thing there. Okay. Deals damage, scales depend on the character, true. But, I mean, that's, well, I guess all giant forms would do that. Because it's like, if we have 17 and 18, of all these characters we have pulled up, these are kind of like the 5 major ones, right? 17 and 18, Fat Buu and Super Trunks have their Ghost Ushers, and LR Ribrianne, Orange Piccolo have their giant forms. Those are kind of like the biggest relevant ones. Of all 5 characters, the androids certainly have the best condition, which is just, you could do it literally right away. Now, the fact that it can only be used against one enemy is not really something that I would say is a big deal at all. I just don't think that really matters whatsoever, that it's only able to be used against one enemy. I mean, you will see people going crazy using the androids, you know, to go nuts in, like, EZA events and all these different types of places. So, absolutely, I think that the androids probably have the best condition. But, you know, they do have a Ghost Usher here, but they don't do damage. But Fat Buu and Trunks do damage. But all giant form transformations are going to do damage. Okay. Allows orbs to be collected a second time, interacts positively with certain characters' kits, right? Yeah, so the way this works is, let's use LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku and LR Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, right? Their standby nuking ability. You know, you can gather orbs in slot 1, gather orbs in slot 2, you have Orange Piccolo in slot 3, you transform, and then the orbs from slot 1 and 2 still, you know, counted. You transform into Orange Piccolo, you go through his 3 turns, you revert out of it, and then you have, you know, you're still on the same turn, but then you could get orbs with all 3 characters on rotations, right? So that could be big there. There are shenanigans you could do, right, with, like, LR Bulma, for example. She activates her support with, like, 5 orbs. So you can get the orbs, activate her support, do the Orange Piccolo transformation, and then her support would still, you can't do it a second time, but it's already activated, you know, once you would revert from Orange Piccolo's active skill. Things like that are good. Able to circumvent boss locking. This is huge because many meta bosses right now are locking. You have Supreme Battle Spectacle Beast Gohan, Supreme Battle Spectacle Trunks, Dragon Ball Super Movie Memorial Piccolo and Gohan, and then there's also the Red Zone movie Boss Rush. All of those fights have locking bosses. Locking is very common in the 9th anniversary meta. So what you could do with that is you'd reach the turn, right? You have your, like, let's just, if I could just show, yeah, okay, perfect, okay. So, like, we'd reach the turn right here. Let's say that Vegeta is locked in slot 2, right? So we could just transform with Orange Piccolo, and then, like, well, actually, let's do it on the turn with Orange Piccolo, because it'll make more sense, right, for this. Okay, so this was an actual turn where I did use the Orange Piccolo active. Yeah, it's right there. So, like, right here, let's say Beast Gohan was, like, locked in slot 3, and it's obviously when Beast Gohan in slot 1. You could pop the Orange Piccolo active, and all that, it's still the same 3 characters in the same order in the giant form. Basically, just Orange Piccolo is, like, copy-pasted over that character. So, like, you know, again, if we would want to move these characters around, you could move them in the Orange Piccolo transformation, and then once you revert, like, that character would have been moved. So again, say we transform Gamma 1 and 2 right there in the middle. I could move, this would be Orange Piccolo once we've actually done the transformation. I could slide this middle Orange Piccolo to the first one, and then once we would leave it, then the Gammas would be in slot 1 once we left it. Now, against locking bosses, that's not an ability that the boss will use up. So once you leave the Orange Piccolo transformation, the boss will re-lock you again, but you're able to maneuver your rotations as you see fit once you're actually in the giant transformation. So that is huge. That ability to do that. Messes with scripted bosses. Yeah, this is a thing, like, Red Zone Kid Buu, I believe, like, both Giant and, like, Ghost Rush and stuff like that can really screw with some of those bosses that have heavily scripted actions. Like Red Zone Kid Buu, Dragon Ball Super Movie Memorial, Beast Gohan at the end right there. Like, Revives, Ghost Usher, Giant Form can all really mess with, like, the boss AI and cause them to act very strangely, right? We saw this 1,000 times on the channel with the Fusion Zamasu Red Zone fight, where you'd revive, and then on that second turn, most of the time Zamasu wouldn't even AoE, and then when he would AoE, it would be like the very last attack he could do or something like that. So, like, all 3 of these abilities do tend to mess with the boss scripts. Still allows characters to build up by being hit. Sure, I mean, that's not the biggest advantage, because, I mean, certainly when we're talking about this, like, it's usually not going to be turn 1. I mean, Piccolo's is pretty good, right? Full superhero turn 3. Piccolo on full superhero really makes the team literally invincible. That's why, like, it's like, I know people want to just write this guy off so badly. Like, they do. They just want to just be like, no, he sucks. Like, the Piccolo coping is done. But, like, Piccolo truly does make the team actually untouchable. Like, the team cannot be touched. Piccolo, the one thing with Piccolo is he is heavily reliant on his intro, like, you know, Cell Max, for example, or even Beast Gohan, but Beast Gohan has a 5-turn intro. You do need to make sure that you get your Piccolo built up with his intro up, or things can get scary. And then obviously once his intro's up, you know, you're rocking him in slot 2 or 3. Now you could say, oh, he doesn't have enough defense to tank the big boss normals, right? When Trunks and Gogeta and Kid Buu are doing way over 2 million and stuff like that. Well, way over 1.5 million is probably what I should say. But in the case of Trunks and Gogeta, they literally only hit so hard because they get 100% attack when they super attack. Both Blue Gogeta and Sword of Hope Trunks are like that. Giant Piccolo or Ribrianne does the same thing. They will remove the boss's ability to super attack, thus significantly lowering their damage to where it's like, you know, regular characters can tank Blue Gogeta and Sword of Hope Trunks if they don't get a chance to super. Now, Kid Buu, he does get his damage up to that ridiculous degree, but there are a lot of characters that could debuff him, like, oh, I don't know, Piccolo debuff, right? Remember, Piccolo's really good. Like, trust me, man, like, I hate kind of just having to be the guy who's like, yeah, sorry, guys, he hasn't aged out, like, sorry, like, you know, it's like, I need to tell you guys, like, what I really am seriously thinking here. And I really seriously think Piccolo has not really fallen off much. Now, I think you can easily say, though, that a lot of what Piccolo is, like, his heavy effect, it helps that he's under Beast Gohan's umbrella. And, you know, UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. And then, you know, you have Gogeta's taunt on, like, turn 6+. But it's just like, when you add Piccolo to that team, like, it's just a perfect complement, right? Like, it's just really nuts. All right, so that's talking about giant form. Let's talk about Ghost Ushers, which are, you know, like, basically just as good. I probably... Man, let's read through this. I feel like I'm probably leaning towards Ghost Ushers as slightly better, but I don't know that it matters too much. Like, most of the differences here would just be that, well, I mean, Fat Boo is the best character here by far, for sure. I would probably put Orange Piccolo 2, probably Ribrianne 3, and then, I mean, these are gimmick units, these last two. These three are legitimate characters you could run. Fat Boo is definitely the best character here. But Fat Boo... I mean, his active skill, sometimes it can be hard to see, his active skill, which you could do either after he revives or on turn 7. It could be, you know, here or there. But really crazy characters like Piccolo, Cell Max, Gohan, the thing that makes them so crazy is their ability is up basically the whole fight. That's what truly makes Beast and Cell Max so crazy. They have 100% control of the fight until you've used up the active. It's just crazy. And Piccolo can serve a similar role as well, right? And of course, the taunt, the, you know, active skill target mechanic, while that can draw all attacks towards the character, it doesn't affect AoE attacks. So, you know, the boss could still, like, Gogeta Blue could super get the huge damage buff, and then his AoE could kill a weak character, even through Beast Gohan or Cell Max's target mechanic, right? Which, that wouldn't happen with a Ghost Usher. So it delays all boss actions. Normal supers heals can be considered as dealing damage, countdowns, etc. So what it does is it literally copies the exact turn and just pushes it one turn back. So, like, if you had a scouter up on that turn and you saw that the boss was supering in slot 2, you use your Ghost Usher, the next turn, the boss would still be supering in slot 2. It is the exact same boss rotation, pushed one turn back, is exactly how the Ghost Usher works. Sacking multiple Ushers carries over to subsequent turns. Yeah, so it's like you can really get the shenanigans going. Like, a lot of people were having a ton of fun running, like, goofy-ass setups, right? Where they'd have, like, PyCon and the androids and Fat Boo and Trunks, just, like, goofy-ass shit. And it's like, you get through the first couple of turns, and then you just Ghost Usher, Ghost Usher, Ghost Usher, Ghost Usher, and the boss can't do anything, right? Like, they literally just can't attack. So, like, you can do stuff like that. Perfect foresight for the boss attacks, placing on the following turn. Yeah, okay, so this is what I said, right? How everything that was on that turn is just copied to the very next turn, right? It's just the exact same thing. Like, it literally is, it's like, I was gonna say King Crimson, but that's not actually a good example. Because it's like you're just pushing the boss turn back, right? Can mess up scripted bosses, so ushering turn 1 to Kid Buu prevent them from supering turn 2. That's pretty good. I mean, one of the nastiest things I've encountered when it comes to, like, doing a lot of these fights lately. That STR Kid Buu slot 3 super in turn 2, it's devastating, man. I've not seen really many people talk about how annoying that STR Kid Buu super can be. Now, again, if you're running full superhero, yeah, you can't lose. We got it, okay? You can't use superhero as the standard for the entire game. I have every character rainbow and stuff like that. Like, yeah, man, I could just run 100% videos where we're just using full superhero team, right? The team led by Double Beast Gohan, which is literally capable of no iteming the entire game, no iteming auto. This video, we dude, look at this. We take down every single boss here, auto. No input. I'm not using support memories, right? Because you can use a support memory along with auto. That does work. But, like, it's just, dude, it's just nuts. It's really nuts. Really nuts. So, yeah, that Kid Buu super, I don't like to just be like, well, you know, if we're running full superhero, Kid Buu can't do shit against Vegeta, AGL, UI, Beast, like, all these characters who just eat it for nothing, right? But it's like, I mean, when you're using teams like that aren't like super crazy, all brand new characters, something like that. The fact that Kid Buu is doing, you know, a 2 million plus super attack in slot 3 can be very tough because his normals hit pretty hard. So a lot of times your best defensive character is going to be put in slot 1. But if STR Kid Buu is doing a lot of normals in slot 1, you're going to be kind of split up and it could be tough. Because like the normals will be very deadly, but you need someone to dodge or tank the super attack or something like that as well. I don't know. I mean, kind of like talking it all over. I feel like I like giant forms better, right? Am I crazy? Because it's like, I mean, sure, you could do like the full Ghost Usher team, Pycon, Trunks, Fapu, androids, and you could just stack so many Ghost Ushers up in a row that like you should be able to kill pretty much all the bosses, like regardless. But like one thing I really like that the Ghost Usher shit's not really gonna help with too much is the locking shit. Like I really like that. I'm not really big into this part. Like I don't really get down super crazy with like, oh, let's nuke with, you know, LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku and LR Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, but you can. Deals damage, yeah. I mean, it's not the craziest damage ever. I mean, Fat Buu doesn't really do too much damage either with his active. Trunks can, I mean, because remember, Trunks is doing a guaranteed crit, but I guess it has been a little bit since I've seen kind of like the damage that Trunks is putting out with that. I mean, remember, once you transform, like, he's still pretty good once you transform with him, because he's guaranteed crit, guaranteed guard, guaranteed additional super, with, you know, good stats. It's still pretty good, right? Like you could run Trunks in, like, slot 2 or 3, and he's a very capable fighter once he's transformed. The problem with this guy, I mean, it has been since day one, this guy is offensively bad, and was even the day he came out. And this guy came out before Dismal Future Red Zone, right? Like, this guy has always sucked cock. But I would always defend this guy. This guy's crazy, right? So, let me know what you guys think. I actually thought I was going to lean more towards Ghost Ushers, but kind of seeing a lot of it placed down. Giant form ends a phase, you remain on the same turn, and the boss won't have used up their abilities. That's a good point. Yeah, that is true. So, like, if you kill the boss in the giant form, you would still be on that same rotation, which, I mean, that could definitely leave you exposed, depending upon what happens, right? So, like, I don't know, if we're deep in the Gogeta fight, you know, Power Awakening Piccolo is not living, you know, those end Gogeta supers. So, like, if we'd use the Orange Piccolo active to just get past Tech Gogeta, but then we accidentally kill him, and then we're probably screwed on STR Gogeta. That's worth mentioning, sure. Giants forms technically have a small chance to not cancel boss abilities. So, wait, let's read it. Mostly only relevant for phase like STR Trunks, since he could double super, but also doesn't do it very often, meaning it's possible for you to go through the giant with him only having supered once. Yeah, so the way that works, this is why a lot of the rage modes, so think of like Int Rose or Physical Janemba, the rage mode is essentially the same thing as the giant form, but it's way worse because it only lasts for the one turn. So there's a very high chance you're not going to waste the boss abilities, because in order to waste the boss abilities, they have to do the action during your giant transformation or your rage transformation or whatever. The boss has to do the ability in that part. Otherwise, you're not actually going to cancel it, right? I don't think I've ever seen that happen with Orange Piccolo, because Orange Piccolo is always 2 turns and sometimes can be 3 turns. Let's look at it. Yeah, okay. So Piccolo has a 100% chance for 2 turns, and then he has a 50% chance to get 3 turns, is how Orange Piccolo works. If you get to a 3rd turn, you're definitely canceling even STR Trunks. Like, you're canceling everything. Now, Ribrianne, hers is only guaranteed 2 turns, right? Yeah, Ribrianne. So Piccolo's is a little bit better like that. I've also noticed that Piccolo definitely does do more damage than Giant Ribrianne. I'm not sure what boss it was. Maybe Supreme Battle Spectacle Beast Gohan. Maybe it was Int Fusion Zamasu, where I saw Ribrianne just with every attack doing 0 damage to the boss. I mean, that's one thing. Well, one thing to keep in mind is against those types of bosses, you're probably going to be doing 0 damage with these giant forms, but you're still potentially going to be canceling the boss abilities, which is more so the biggest thing. Like, with all 5 of these characters, you know, all of them but the androids can do damage, but the damage is secondary. Remember, I mean, people, I've long accepted that people going, oh, God, big damage. Like, that's just the way, like, caveman brain, activates. Like, it's just, people are always going to be like that with damage. 100%, like, I get it. But remember, it's a lot of times, like, the utilities and stuff like that is what's more important. I mean, that's the thing with me putting Buhan above Broly, right? It's all of his defense and utility is just strictly and factly more valuable than just damage, which is mostly what Broly provides. But, again, remember that there's characters who can do damage, and then there's characters that do damage. And Transform Broly is definitely a damage character, right? You guys get what I'm saying there. Okay, this is pretty good. Okay, so yep, we read through that. Not all giants are created equal. Number of turns giant transformation has impacts how reliable it is. Yeah, that's what we just said. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, like the Janemba and Rose abilities don't really work too well. Like, I toyed around a little bit. What did I call the video? It was LOL, I think. It's LOL. Yeah, there it is. 200K? What? Bro, we gotta hit the meme titles more often. 200? What? God damn. Yeah, it's the meme and titles and shit like that. I usually make things like, I word it in such a way to where it's easy to, like, search this shit up, right, is usually what I'm doing, but, okay, yeah, but in this, man, yeah, this was hard as hell, because I was doing this, this is early in the anniversary, right? Now, this is a joke. Like, global players are going to have no difficulty with this whatsoever. Rose will help, and, Super Easy, Goku Black, and stuff like that. Like you could use all these characters, it'll be easier. At some point in here, yep, here it is. Here we go. At some point, I was able to try in Rose and get his ability off. How did I lose? I lose this run. It's not because of Rose. It's just Gogeta at the end. I mean, bro, like, you just can't, like, tank that guy. Like, dude, it's Blue Gogeta's damage at the end. It's actually so comical how hard he hits after he supers. But remember, this Gogeta right here does have the ability to double super. So unless we see Gogeta, we dodge. Dude, that's so funny. My Rose is built full offense. So that's like a 5. That was a 5 dodge, just a free 5 dodge he has in there. I mean, it doesn't matter. He would have taken no damage at all anyway. But so remember, in order for the Rose's giant form, it's only 1 turn. He only does 1 turn. Those animations do look pretty good. It sucks because, like, these animations look really nice, but, like, it's never, like, these have been, like, very uncommon to see, these animations, right? Like, I think that these look way better than physical Rose, right? I mean, it does make sense. I mean, this is an anniversary unit, so it does make sense. Does he double super here? He doesn't. Okay, so we leave the transformation. So Gogeta should still be able to do a super attack on this turn because we did that. That's interesting. That's interesting. So do I do Ribrian's giant form here? I did. Yeah, I do go into Ribrian's giant form. And there you go. Gogeta still had a queued up super. So perfect. We were able to just directly show that. This point right here where the 1-turn giant abilities a lot of times, or it's rage mode really, oftentimes just are not really nearly as effective. Right. And it's a good thing on that run we had Ribrian there who was able to can. How does this run lose? I know we get to Gogeta Blue here. All right, so we go through. Oh, Zamasu got crushed by normals, didn't he? This is the part where Fusion Zamasu gets cocked by normals. Yeah, let's watch this. Yeah, Fusion Zamasu gets torched right here. Once he falls below 70%, it's a lot better. But damn, dude. Wow, yeah, Gogeta. I mean, Gogeta hitting really hard. And then, of course, we get to the next rotation. This is so funny because Transform Broly will kill. Like, the second he touches Gogeta, I do think Transform Broly would actually just kill him here. I think Golden Frieza gets killed by the AoE is what happened. And this is why, again, people will say clown shit. Like, they'll say, they push their glasses up and think they're so fucking clever. You just kill the boss before the boss kills you. I'm so fucking clever. I just thought of that. You just kill the boss before they kill you. Well, no, because, I mean, Broly's fine, and Broly's kind of fine, but Golden Frieza now has passive up, and he's not fine, and you're dead. Yeah, so the boss actually, we weren't able to kill him before he killed us. So yeah, anyway, there we go. I'm getting off on tangents and shit like that. Let me know what you guys think is better. Going over it all, talking it all out, bro, I'm taking Giants. I am. You just have way more shenanigans you could do with the Giant transformation. So I think I'm leaving this video leaning more towards Giant forms being a little bit better. But keep in mind, of all the characters right now, it's a Ghost Usher character, Fat Boo, who's the best of the bunch. Fat Boo is definitely better than Piccolo, right? Like, I'm not... like, Piccolo's got a team... Like, Fat Boo does kind of a little bit have team protector abilities. You can kind of... Because, like, against Cell Max, which I think is the toughest fight, like, Cell Max will kill Boo. Even if Boo supers first, Cell Max will kill him. And so, like, you could... Boo is one of the best characters in the game for Cell Max. Because, like, Fat Boo dies turn 1, and then turn 3, you Ghost Usher. And then turn 4, Buhan has the, you know, the touch of death on Cell Max, the 5-turn seal, and you clinch the fight, is what typically... That best case scenario run for Cell Max, again... Fat Boo dies turn 1, Fat Boo active skill turn 3, Buhan 5-turn seal turn 4. That's like a dream Cell Max fight is how it goes. So let me know what you guys think about Ghost Ushers versus Giant transformations. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.